Albeit in your personal life, you've sort of always been very bold, front and center. You live a very proud life as a queer person. Was it tough coming out?
Yeah. Coming out is always tough, I feel. I mean, I had it really easy. My parents were so brilliantly amazing about it. They were so supportive, they were so emotional, they were so wonderful. There was not one moment of antagonism against it or trauma or whatever. They were just like, okay, you're our son, this is who you are, we love you for it, we don't care. It was literally that. I never had a difficult time coming out. The difficult time was making the decision to come out.
Okay.
Right? Because from the time you realize, okay, this is who I am and this is what my truth is, to the time that you actually come out, it was a few years for me.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't like, okay, and then suddenly one day I said, okay, tomorrow I'm going to do it. No, it was a few years of dealing with it, because the thing is, you build a persona about yourself when you're in the closet and you feed yourself and everybody else a lot of lies about who you are. And then you have to break through that. Of course, your world shifts a little bit because things change. So all of those things in your early 20s, because I came out in my early 20s, is very, those are the struggles, but the actual coming out thing was very easy for me. Yeah.
But I mean, you came out in your early 20s, you said, but had you known all along, like for a few years before that?
I mean, the thing is, I'd been hooking up with guys from my teens, but I didn't, I mean, in the beginning you think it's a thing, then you think, okay, maybe I'm bisexual, because I always had lots of girlfriends, I had lots of romances with girls. And then you realize, okay, no, I actually enjoy this a lot more than, not just sexually, but in every level, I feel more connected to this part of myself, so maybe I am gay. And then when you start to have that discourse with yourself, it takes a while to realize, okay, I actually know, not maybe, I am. Stop maybeing myself, right? Stop cushioning myself, stop cushioning the reality. And then, so it's a process. It's a process. So it happened with me like that, at least, and it happened with some of my closest friends like that also. We all went through it together, and that was incredible because we were all having a very similar experience, and that was very, very
and drawing from each other's experiences and strength.
Yeah, it was very therapeutic. We were all there for each other, and those friendships are my forever friendships because they go so deep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And whilst living in the closet for those years seemed awkward, tell me, has there ever been a moment in your career or public life where being queer felt awkward, you know, sometimes in a room? Or
see, the thing is, it's never going to stop being like that. It always feels a bit awkward, right? I know that there are many, many places that one still walks into, and you can see that you're being judged for your appearance or your queerness or whatever it is. That is always going to be there. The point is, will you let it get to you? So I'm just like, screw it. Somehow for people who are LGBTQ, that becomes the first thing that walks into the room, not the fact that they are people.
Yeah. And that shouldn't necessarily be the case, right?
It should never be the case because you don't do that about a heterosexual person.
Totally.
You don't think, oh, this person is heterosexual. Ah, okay, and he's a filmmaker.
Yeah.
You think he's a filmmaker or he's a whatever.
Yeah. It doesn't come with the prefix, he's a gay filmmaker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, having said that, it's not like that universally. There are a lot of places and people who don't give a shit.
Yeah.
But this does exist. Like it should not exist because it doesn't exist for the rest of the population on this earth.
Yeah.
But it does exist for LGBTQ people, and it's irksome.
Absolutely, and one just wish that, you know, people would take cognizance of it and just sort of do away with it. Really, it's their problem, it's not mine.
Accept me for the person that I am, not for who I sleep with.
Yeah.
Right? It's like none of your business.
Absolutely. What does being queer mean to you, you know, beyond gender and sexuality?
That's a very heavy question. I think what I would look at queerness today with my experience over the years and also being part of a community space. You know, आजकल तो सभी community word तो ऐसे use हो जाता है. But you know, again coming from a time where there was no word, like we never said community. You know, हमने सबने मिलके चालू किया ये word. But I think it's more about how fluid you are as a person, right? It's not about boxing yourself. It's not about boxing your notions, your ideas, your mindset. I think that's what perhaps queer means.
In building a community like that, what's been the biggest challenge in building a safe space for Desi queer folks in South Asia?
See, money is the biggest challenge, right? See, like for example, even in a city like Bombay, you don't have a cafe or a bar or a club or a space besides the NGOs where queer people can just drop in during the day and hang. We don't have a single space like that.
But why do you need a
24/7.
dedicated space for queer people? If the idea is to mainstream and normalize, then you can just walk in anywhere,
No,
right?
but every space, everywhere you need your own space. You need a little, like a social space where you can kind of come together. Not that you have to constantly plan, right?
Okay.
कि ये event हो रहा है तो I have to coincide with that event. चलो, at least in a city like Bombay, Delhi, and even Bangalore, perhaps these events, these curated social spaces take place more frequently.
Yeah.
But look at other cities जहाँ पे नहीं होता, right? Like we get so many emails at times of queer people who are visiting Bombay from outside or even from different parts of India, where they are like कि हम और queer लोगों को कहाँ मिले? And there's like, sorry, you know, you have to wait for an event to happen. Otherwise कहाँ मिलेंगे? आप मतलब you can't just walk into another
I think
club,
therein
right?
lies your next business opportunity, no?
वो तो है.
Matchmaking
What do you
service
think?
for
What makes you think नहीं है मेरे plan में? Now, not every social space gives you that space,
Yeah.
or is safe enough for you to be able to express yourself
I
like
agree,
that, right?
yeah.
So many times, like we've seen it in our parties, etc., or even in our bigger scale events, etc., where queer people come just before entering a space, they go to the washroom, they get ready there, and in their flamboyant, crazy, fun self,
Yeah.
they enter that space, and when they are leaving, they again have to dress down
Yeah.
and then leave,
Yeah.
right? So these kind of things, one has to be so mindful and so calculated,
Yeah.
which is a sad part,
Yeah.
right? So while we all want to aspire to have a world where, you know, हमको ये सब चीजें नहीं सोचनी पड़ेगी, but the fact of the matter is right now है ऐसी दुनिया, you know, and how can we make best of what is there right now?
Yeah.
Is the way we have to work.
Your story is inspiring beyond belief, and full respect to you. You've really shown what courage is and what healing is from the kind of trauma that you've been through. I mean, it's not a childhood one would wish upon any child, yet there are so many cases of child sexual abuse that are reported, and perhaps so many more that go unreported. Looking back, how did you deal with it all?
I think child sexual abuse, Pooja, speaking about the cases that are reported and cases which are not reported, I think it's more common than common cold. People in this room right now could be survivors of child sexual abuse. But as a child, you don't even call your private parts the right names.
Yeah.
I still don't know why is a vagina called a chuchi, and in Tamil we used to call the penis dindin. So whenever we had to, even if I have to tell somebody that someone touched me inappropriately, I didn't have the language for that, or even if I had the language for that, there were these nicknames which didn't sound real, which didn't seem like anything that was serious. And mostly children don't have the vocabulary and the comfort to tell the elders in their family about what they are going through. I suffered the same. I didn't have the language. I come from a fairly progressive family per se. I mean, I could discuss anything with my mother. But the challenge is that I had to go to my mother and tell her that I have a problem. My mother didn't proactively come and tell me, you know what, you're a child, you're growing up, and these are the things that could be happening to you. And it's another thing that my mother today goes out and she speaks in forums and she tells people, I am the example you should not be. And that takes more courage than me even coming and speaking over here. Because when I come and speak at forums, people speak about how brave I am. My mother, when she comes and speaks in forums, she stresses on the fact that how timid she is. And that takes more courage. And I was raped from the age of 7 till the age of 18. The rapist was a male relative of mine. And I was raped in the beginning, then I was gang raped. He used to get people home. So I lived a dual life, Pooja. So I used to live a life that I was abused and a life that I was not abused. And these two were parallel lives that I was living. It's like getting parts of a jigsaw puzzle, which is actually your complete past life and parallel life. And as you become an adult, you start putting those jigsaw puzzles together and start making sense of it. And when you make sense of it, you're in disbelief because you don't connect or relate to the life that you have seen. So you don't relate to your own abuse. So you spend time re-traumatizing yourself just to complete the parts of the puzzle in your head. And that's what happened to me.
I mean, I was just going to ask, coming out with the whole story of your abuse would have been reliving the trauma in effect, right?
It is. It's not easy, but every time you spoke about your trauma, I would reveal some part of my abuse to myself. I would just say things like, oh, the room was so dark. And then I would go back and think, was it really dark? Why did I say that? Okay. And if you've watched the film Sadma,
Yeah.
how Sridevi completely forgets one part of her life, or if you watch Nagina, on how she lives a parallel life of being a serpent and being this, and this life doesn't know that life. So that's what happened to me. I would just snap in and snap out. And but every time I spoke to somebody, that also became therapy for me.
Yeah.
No one who has been a survivor of any abuse is truly healed.
Yeah.
You live this and you try completing a part of your jigsaw puzzle in your head throughout life.
And yet you sort of chose the power of your voice. You spoke and spoke and spoke till that, sort of led to your own healing, was therapy for you and for so many others who may have been in similar situations of hopelessness.
Pooja, if the first woman who got raped didn't get up and say that she was raped, would the word rape have existed in our dictionary?
Yeah.
So when I was looking for hope, when I could put parts of the jigsaw puzzle and the story became clear to me, when I told my mother's first reaction was, if you're a woman, I would have protected you. I didn't know. I wasn't aware that boys could go through child sexual abuse or anything of that kind. As if you're a girl, I would have told you, be careful, sit properly. Or then I told my mother, I said, you would have still told me, sit properly. You wouldn't have told them. She said, yeah, but those are the ways that we have been brought up.
Right.
I'm learning.
Yeah.
But I was flawed, and I didn't even realize that male children would go through that.
Yeah. I want to ask, I mean, and you said it, आप एक revolution, एक क्रांति के से कम बिल्कुल भी नहीं हो, but I'm sure the journey has not been easy.
Yeah.
And not without its trolling. How have you managed it thus far?
It's been a wild journey, and I think kudos to my parents, my team. Each and every day that I set foot inside a studio, whether it's to record a song, to voice act, to dub, or whether it's to act, model, whatever, I think that it takes an army. And I'm blessed with the best, I have to say. And of course, there have been people that have come in my life and gone out of it, but I cherish the memories that I've had with them and some great work that I've done. So I think it just goes back to gratitude. I just have to say it's been wild. It's been a roller coaster. पर ये ups and downs होनी भी चाहिए. Varna, again, you get comfortable.
Yeah.
And then something presents itself to you and you don't know what to do. So you have to be prepared, yes, for life. And I think that life prepared me for life.
Yeah.
Life happened as it kept happening. I kept taking it in my stride. And I said, okay, well, my house burned down. Okay, my engagement broke. Okay. But I was also on a Times Square billboard. I'm also doing films. I could sing with my inspiration. I keep doing live shows with Usha Utu.
Yeah.
I share stage with some of the most amazing artists that I have looked up to.
Yes.
And then the newer generation that tell me that they've looked up to me. So it's a full circle.
Yeah.
And I think that that's the beauty of it. And struggles to hoti hai. But I don't know whether I'll sound crass when I say this, but you know, some of my gurus and seniors, they say, रोना करने से अच्छा कभी-कभी होना चाहिए. You know.
It's not crass. It's on
I just
point.
think, you know, I don't want to pit my issues or problems and journey against another person and say that, oh, I have had it very difficult. I'm sure everyone in this room, and you included, or anyone watching, all of us have got our problems.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's how you kind of maneuver around it and how you circumnavigate and get to a point where you say that, yeah, it's cool. Life's life, and it's, you know, every minute I feel is a blessing.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I think that spirit of gratitude is really something that powers you on every day.
Yeah.
What was your own journey like? You spoke about being bullied, about being rejected, about even being thrown out of home. What was the starting point of your story?
So, I mean, I was always very effeminate, one could tell, right? But I was also a naughty child. So when somebody is behaving out of the norm, generally is always shut down, like, you know, it's you're not supposed to behave that way. So it's similar, like with all other queer people who were not afraid to express, kind of have similar stories to mine. So yeah, in school and college, I mean, you know, you get like bullied and you know, you get names, names other than yours.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also like here in Mumbai, like I've been thrown out of you know, my rented apartment twice actually.
Wow.
Yeah, because I'm queer and I'm not afraid to express. I think people look at it as like a threat almost, right? It's just, but I'm really expressing freely. I think people find it threatening, the freedom.
Yeah.
You know, which is kind of strange, right? Like,
Yeah, but what you are expressing is essentially what you want to express.
Yeah,
it's what
right.
on your mind, or your
Right.
state of being,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
But people don't understand it, so they feel threatened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this has been my story like all over. Like I was studying architecture, and then I went to a good school actually, like architecture school, and it was a national level design school. But you know, it was a really, for an art school, it was strange. You know, so I left architecture, and then I moved to Auroville, and I stayed there for 2 years.
Wow.
and kind of like watched the world go by and kind of evolved there. And for first time, actually, I felt a sense of freedom in Auroville, like as if people were not looking at me in that light that I have been always looked at, you know. Then I decided to move to Bombay, like 8 years ago. After that.
Oh, as recent as 8 years, is it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but in Bombay also it was no cakewalk, to be
I'm
honest.
sure.
You know, I've been thrown out twice because, you know, me and my flatmate
Yeah.
then and now, we are really like queer on your face. I mean, as you can see, it's the fabulosity. I think people can't really.
Looking fabulous. You don't have to
know,
worry at all.
Right.
Yeah.
It's that. That's what, you know, made me, built me, I suppose.
Yeah.
And where I am today.